Well, how's it going today, YouTube? Today we have our weekly NAT stock update. So we're going to go ahead and talk about NAT stock. We're going to talk about if there's been any news, which there really hasn't been a ton of news other than the fact that earnings is coming up. We're going to talk about the tanker market index. Hopefully we haven't hit new lows. Hopefully we're still heading up, and we will see. And we're going to talk about potentially earnings on Monday, how those are hopefully going to go. And we're going to talk about my moves with NAT stock, and I'm also going to talk about if earnings are good or bad or where I'm at with all of that stuff. So stay tuned, should be a good one. If you get any value out of this, please think about liking and subscribing. I do this one every week, so if you want to follow NAT stock, please think about subscribing. So let's dive on in.
So here on the old Robinhood, just going to go ahead and take a look at how Nordic American Tanker has been doing the last few days. And we can go ahead and see that it's kind of been between the $4 and $5 range here. Hasn't really broke 5, hasn't really gone below 4, and that's the case for the last few months actually here. So if we look, we can just see we don't think it's going to go below 4. I'm kind of a buyer at 4, but I also want to see what the earnings look like in the future here. And then it hasn't really gone above 5. So we've really been quite stagnant with the share price here. And then you can see if we look back a little bit further, still hasn't gone below 4 there, and still has been quite high in the past. And before, when it was up to like $7, which I was a buyer at $6, if we go ahead and look at that here real quick, yeah, it was up to, that's where about I bought it, so that stinks, but that's where the share price has been.
So what we have cooking right now for NAT stock. So the first thing to note is the dividend payment date, which is 9/4/2020. So pretty soon here, we're going to be getting a nice juicy dividend of 20 cents. So that's something to note, that the dividend's coming. So we're going to have earnings here pretty soon, but also realize that you're going to be getting a nice juicy dividend check if you bought in before the record date. So if you bought in before that date, then you're going to be getting a nice dividend. So that's something to note here. Moving on to the tanker market index here, we have the year to date, which is now below that 2008 level that we had surpassed when we were getting such nice prices per month or per week, per ship or whatnot. So now we can see that the year to date is still quite good, but it's starting to fall quite a bit below that 2008 mark, and it might keep on going down based on the next rates that we're seeing. On the right, you see the 2020, 2019, and 2018 line, and I'm hoping for that nice spike in pricing like we saw in 2019. So you can go ahead and look and see the purple line, which is 2020. During that oil crash where prices went negative, it spiked all the way up there in March, and then now we're hoping for a nice little rebound in price like in 2019. So that's what we're seeing right here. That's what I circled with the red, and the green is just me being hopeful. And on to the encore. So what are our prices looking like this week, released today? So recall, Suezmaxes are what NAT has for all of their fleet. Last week was 15.5, and this week's kind of a bum week, and we are down to 12.6, and this is 12.6 thousand per day per ship. So it adds up to be a very significant amount of money, even when it's a $3,000 drop. So we did hit 10 at the bottom. We're at 12.6 now. I'm really hoping we stabilize, go back up, everything like that. But this week was a drop in pricing. And normally at this point, we're going to start to see a sharp uptick if we base it based on the 2019 and 2018 things that we saw before in the line graph there. There was always a nice uptick. So this is what we're looking at right now, is just a little bit of a downturn. Hopefully next week is a little bit better. So on the news end of things, I don't have too much to report with NAT stock. It's been moving around kind of like crazy, so that's been a little wild, like 5% days up and down. The main thing on the financial calendar is that they have earnings on Monday, August 17th, 2020. So mark it on your calendar. NAT, I'm sure, is going to move up or down. I think the share price kind of has baked in really good news for those earnings in particular, but that is the only big thing news-wise that I've seen on NAT right now, is that their earnings are on Monday, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
So what am I doing with Nordic American Tanker stock here? So you can see there's share price again, $4.50. If we roll down, I'm actually leveraging my 204 shares. So I'm giving the option for somebody to buy these shares from me on this date, which is the 21st of this month, for $6 per share and $5 per share. And I initiated these contracts earlier to try and get my cost average down, which has worked out fairly nicely. I don't know if I see it going above $5. If earnings are phenomenal on Monday, perhaps. But for me, that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is leveraging my shares, getting, costs down.
So what is ya boy gonna do with NAT stock? So biggest thing is earnings on Monday. Now, if the earnings on Monday look like we're heading towards becoming another $2 chuck before all of this oil negative prices and everything like that, if it looks like it's going back to that, then we're possibly going to sell. But I need to see what they have to say on Monday about earnings, and if all the good news and dividend increases are baked into the price right now. So that's what I'm worried about, is that we're already expecting really stellar earnings, and that if it's not absolutely on point, then it's not going to be great for the share price. So we'll go ahead and see. I'm curious how much they actually made this quarter, so I'm going to be really diving into that. I have a lot of interest in it, and we'll see what the heck happens with it. So I think it could be quite interesting. So my plan right now, I'm leveraging my shares to make a little bit of money back from the money I've lost so far. We're going to see what earnings do, and then if I don't like earnings or if I don't like the way the company's heading, possibly sell. If she went sub 4, maybe buy some more if I like the earnings and it was negative, because good earnings can sometimes be negative too. The market's weird that way. So we'll see what happens with things, guys. If you enjoy the content, please think about liking and subbing, and hopefully you guys make some money. Hopefully you make some money on Monday. So bye-bye.